Listen, I know it's been a minute, but I'm back, and I'm more jank than ever. I've got a lot of funny and interesting decks that I plan to play, so stay tuned. In the meantime, welcome back to the lab, the series where I test off-meta strategies and some of your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh formats. Today, in NR format, we're playing GAIA HIERATIC. Here's the list, and uh-oh, 4 vanillas? What is this, an ice cream shop? GAIA is an archetype based on one of Yugi's most mid 2 tribute monsters, GAIA the Fierce Knight. It being combined with the monster Curse of Dragon, create a fusion monster that is 300 attack over the original. That being said, Rise of the Duelist released an archetype retread of this silly normal monster that centers around a few key aspects. Monsters that have the same name as GAIA the Fierce Knight, and level 5 dragon monsters. We're playing with that support by looking over the best level 5 dragons and seeing what we can search. My personal favorite version of this deck is HIERATIC. These dragon monsters, when tributed in any way, can special summon a normal dragon monsters from the hand, deck, or graveyard, but decrease their attack and defense to 0. Let's start with the GAIA cards. Your main goal is to start your plays to get the field spell, Galloping GAIA online. Its first effect is not relevant in this deck, but essentially you can reveal either a GAIA the Fierce Knight monster, or a level 5 dragon monster, and add the other one. This means we have to run a GAIA monster, and our best option is GAIA the Fierce Knight Origin. You can set a level 5 or higher monster from your hand to special summon him, and if he's in the graveyard you can banish him during the battle phase to make any monster's attack is different from its original, bring it back to its original attack. This works surprisingly well with some of the normal monsters we have. Next, we're playing Curse of Dragon the Cursed Dragon. If normal or specialed, you can add from your deck to your hand a spell trap that specifically lists the card GAIA the Dragon Champion. That's the original fusion monster's name. And that's all you're using it for. The rest of it's not at all relevant. The 2 targets you can add are the field spell and the trap card Spiral Reborn. You can target a level 7 or lower dragon in your graveyard and special summon it. That's all it does, and it's really all it needs to do. If you already have the field spell, this is an excellent option to search, because if you need to, you can have a small loop with Cursed Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, and Spiral Reborn. The final GAIA support card is neither a GAIA monster or a level 5 dragon, but a silly little fella known as Artillery Catapult Turtle. On a hard once per turn, you contribute 1 monster to special summon either a GAIA or a level 5 dragon from your hand or deck. This card having synergy with tributes make it a must-play in this version. Now for the HIERATICs. All our HIERATICs have the exact same effect when tributed. Special summon 1 dragon normal monster from hand, deck, or grave, and make its attack and defense 0. Asset can be normal summoned without tributing, but its original attack goes to 1000, and can target a dragon normal monster in the field, and make all HIERATIC monsters have the exact same level. Nebthet? I'll go with Nebthet. Nebthet can be special summoned from the hand by tributing a HIERATIC monster in the field, and contribute another HIERATIC from hand or field to pop an opponent's monster. These are relevant level 5 dragons. For our level 6 HIERATICs, SUUUUUUU is the exact same effect as Nebthet, except it does spell traps. And Tefnuit is just Cyber Dragon, but you can't attack when it's special summoned this way. We have 1 copy of Ball. We want to play at least 1 copy of it, just because it's a HIERATIC monster. And for the spell traps, we have 2 copies of HIERATIC Seal of Supremacy, which just lets you special summon a HIERATIC monster from your hand, and HIERATIC Seal of Reflection, that negates any activation of a spell, trap, or monster effect by tributing a HIERATIC monster, and destroys it. Now it's time for the spice. We have 3 copies of Enemy Controller. Its secondary effect is what we're mainly looking for. Being able to tribute any of your HIERATICs in order to plus off the effect with a Snatch Steal is perfect in this kind of deck, and also its first effect can be relevant. 3 copies of Successor Soul. This card is custom in this deck. Allow me to just read this to you. Tribute 1 effect monster, target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, then special summon a level 7 or higher normal monster from hand or deck. This is full combo into making 2 8s instantly if you tribute a HIERATIC, and also sends as well instead of destroys, which can be incredibly relevant. This means if you tribute a HIERATIC, you can get 2 level 8 monsters on the field, and 1 of which has its full stats. 2 copies of Guard Dragon Cataclysm, its Icarus attack for dragons on a hard once per turn. And lastly, the funniest floodgate I could ever think of, Dragon's Bind. It's a continuous trap that makes you target a dragon monster with less than 2500 attack and defense. Neither player can special summon monsters with attack less than or equal to the original attack of the monster. But if the monster leaves the field, it gets destroyed. This card's a bit confusing, but I'll break it down for you. If we target a monster whose current attack is less than 2,500 attack and defense. It blocks anyone from special summoning monsters whose original attack is equal to or lower than it. Because the Hieratics can make our vanilla monster have 0 attack and defense, we can block special summons of all monsters with less than or equal to an attack of 2950. Speaking of 2950, our level 8 target in NR is Rabbit Dragon. It's a snowfield-dwelling, giant-eared, sporting, super-acoustic, snowball-shaped mutant dragon. There is no way anyone can escape. I really wish we had Blue Eyes White Dragon, but this is funnier, so I'll take it. And for level 5 plays, we're also running the original Curse of Dragon. For the extra deck, we've got Queen Dragoon Jin and Heartland Draco for 4s, Volcasaurus, Shark Fortress, and Doom Chimera Dragon for 5s, Dragoulion, and 2 copies of Draglubion for 8s. Draglubion is what we're mostly going into, but Dragoulion is something we're uniquely allowed to go into because of the way our deck works. Hearthearth Draco to summon off of Draglubion, Pain Gainer and 7 Sins to rank up from Draglubion, Defender of the Labyrinth, Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, Triple Burst Dragon, and Steel Star Regulator. With that all being said, let's get into the duels and get to ballin'. But first, if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more NR format content. Are there any other NR format decks I should try? Let me know in the comments below. Our first match is up against Fiend Mill Labyrinth, and it appears that we've opened up pretty well compared to our opponent, who happens to have not the best opener. We end up going second. They're going to set 2 and pass the turn on over to us. We draw for turn, and that's pretty good. We're going to go ahead and activate a copy of Hieratic Seal of Supremacy, bring out Sue. We're going to Sue effect, going to tribute off the Nepteth. They're going to activate Sulliek, and being able to add a Sulliek to adding a tier limit monster to hand is going to be pretty devastating. We're going to activate Nepteth, at least we're forced to, and Sulliek is going to activate. They're going to activate Labyrinth Archfiend because a trap card was activated. They're able to special summon itself on out in defense position. They're going to add a copy of Havness, of course, and we're going to special summon out a copy of Rabby Dragon. They're going to Labyrinth Archfiend, put out a copy of Fair Welcome Labyrinth, and we're going to activate Successor Soul. By tributing off our copy of Sue, we're going to hit over that and getting out another Rabby Dragon. Sue effect, we're going to bring out Ball. Normal summoning out Hieratic Dragon of Esset. We're going to go out and Xyz over into a copy of Draglubion, and we're going to hit in for 3k, pass the turn on over because Successor Soul locks us from there. We have a copy of Hieratic Seal of Reflection, allowing for us to keep out the copy of Esset without Xyzing over it, and having a 2950 attack monster as well is still pretty good. They're going to draw for turn. They're going to activate a copy of Heartbeat. They're going to go shuffle back that card. We're going to have to go and say, yeah, that's fine. They're going to pitch Havness, going into, with the fusion of Silvered, into a copy of Metal Foe's Crimsonite in defense position. They're going to pass the turn from here, and we might have a chance to wrap this whole thing up. That is so good. We're going to activate Esset's effect, make them both level 8, going to go into another Draglubion, and we're going to Xyz that Draglubion into a copy of Pain Gainer, and we are going to activate Pain Gainer's effect, using its effect to detach and afflict and destroy all monsters your opponent controls with defense less than or equal to that monster. We're going to finally Xyz over into the 7 Sins, and we're going to go into the battle phase from here, hitting him with 7 Sins for 4k and Draglubion for 3,000. What this replay really shows is that if you're able to get off to the races and normal summon out any copy of any of the Hieratics or get out any sort of special summon effect, that is your #1 goal, is to find anything to get out any monster onto the field. Our second match is up against Infernoble, and they have opened up a decent hand. You know, they're having an option to go into Bull-Ine, as well as having an Infernoble Knight. Seems great. We are going second, as always. They're going to activate a copy of Adhara, special summon themselves out, activate a copy of Durandal, equipping to the Adhara. Durandal effect is going to add a copy of Magus. They're going to normal summon out Magus, synchro summon into Infernoble Knight Captain Roland. They're going to Roland effect in the end phase, activate a copy of Magus, put on there, and make it so it's immune to battle, setting a copy of Infernoble Knight Durandal and adding a copy of Oliver to the hand. We draw for turn, and this hand is honestly one of the best ones you could possibly think of. Galloping GAIA and 2 copies of Esset and 2 copies of Nepteth, crazy, as well as a copy of Successor Soul just in case. We draw for turn, we're going to activate a copy of Galloping GAIA, adding a copy of, with revealing the Esset, adding a copy of GAIA the Fierce Knight Origin. We're going to normal summon out a copy of Esed and tribute over it with Nebteth, and we're going to activate the effect, bring out Rabby Dragon. We're going to Nebteth effect, tributing another copy of Esed and targeting over the Captain Roland. They're going to Roland effect, targeting over it to get some advantage for next turn, but I don't think they're going to have a chance to really do much of anything. We're going to Esed here, getting another Hieratic Seal. We're going to tribute over with Nebteth, over this other copy, go into a 5, and go into an 8. Draglubion plus 2 5s equals an OTK with Shark Fortress. We're going to Shark Fortress effect, targeting Draglubion, and that is the end of the game. 3k, 3k, and 2400 in 4 game. This game shows that if you happen to have the OTK line, it is exactly what you want to do, having a way to pop a monster, popping back row if you happen to have a copy of SUUUUUU, and going in for game. It is absolutely explosive if you get the right hand. Our third match is up against Tenyi, and this is my final game before I was, unfortunately, eliminated in the NRCS, the No Riches Championship Series. We're going second. Our opponent is going to normal summon out a copy of Card Trooper, sending off 3, activating a copy of Decisive Battle of Golgonda, activating Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi, setting 1, and passing the turn. Because of the way they're able to protect with Golgonda, we're going to have a hard time getting through this specific line, especially with this kind of hand. Them having a chance to go through with the Fists of Unrivaled Tenyi later on for protection, as well as them having draw if they happen to get any Tenyi monsters out of the field, is devastating. However, because they only have a 400 attack monster, we can at least get some decent damage in, which is good. We're going to draw for turn. That's not what you want to see. We're going to activate a copy of Seal, bringing out a copy of Nebteth. We're going to Nebteth effect, tribute over the Esset, popping over the Card Trooper, but they're going to Golgonda over it. They're going to bring out a copy of Cursed of Dragon. Because we didn't bring out the Esset in order to get any sort of real tributing or anything like that, it's a little bit more rough than what we'd like, but you know, we make do. We're going to tribute over that copy of Nebteth, activating the Nebteth effect, and we're going to activate a copy of Cursed Dragon, the Cursed Dragon. By activating its effect, we're going to add a copy of Spiral Reborn, being able to bring that on out. They're going to go over the seals, and we're going to link these two off, actually, into a copy of Defender of the Labyrinth. By having this, we're able to increase the attack of all of our normal monsters, and if it's popped, we're able to bring back out a copy of any of these two normal monsters. This line is a bit tricky. I was thinking that maybe we could go for a different one, but I wanted to try out this line to see how it would work. We're going to go ahead and hop on in with the Defender of the Labyrinth. Card Trooper's going to be able to draw a card, and that's a crazy one off top, and we're going to hit in with Curse of Dragon right in there. We're going to set 2 and pass the turn. They draw for turn, and another Tenyi is just what they need. They're going to Vishuddha. We're going to go ahead and activate Spiral Reborn before they happen to activate any effect with Fist of the Unrivaled. They're going to link on off into Monk, and this is going to be difficult to go through. They're going to Vishuddha, targeting Defender, and they're going to activate a Shunna because they happen to have it off the mill. They're going to activate a copy of Heavenly Dragon Circle, going to add another copy of Fist of the Unrivaled Tenyi, normal summon out another Tenyi of Mapura, link into Berserker, and they're going to go into battle phase after they activated Hara and grabbing that copy of a Shunna. This is devastating. They're going to go ahead and hit into our Nebteth. I would have thought about tributing, but I knew that they had any sort of interruption, especially if we were to special summon at this time, they would be able to draw even more on their turn. They're going to set 1, and we're going to pass here. We're going to see what we can do off the draw. That's okay, but I don't know how much it's going to help because of the activated effect. We're going to Esset hit over these. They're going to go Golgonda protect. That's fine. We're going to activate Esset effect. They're going to just negate it, and because we only really have a Rabby Dragon in hand, we're just going to have to turn Curse of Dragon sideways and pass the turn. Well, I knew we could have played this better, but I didn't think it would be this explosive. They're going to activate a copy of Ashana, special summon themselves out, and normal summon out the copy of Ashana at Hara, and then synchro summon into Enlightenment Paladin. They're going to activate a copy of Ashana now, adding and special summoning out another Vishuddha, linking that off into Monk of the Tenyi. They're going to go into the battle phase right after that Haring, of course, adding back, guess what, another Ashana. That Ashana cycle is crazy. They're going to go ahead and hit in for 25, burning for 2k, 3k, 1000, and if we have anything off the top, we could do something, maybe, if they decide not to Fists, but Golgonda is just too much. We're going to special summon out the copy of Tefnuit and concede. So this replay really shows how varied the lines can be, and how if you do not know exactly what you should be doing with each of your lines and finding ways to get to the OTK line or a stronger finish, you're gonna have a bad time. Our final match is up against Magnet Warrior, and this replay is really what I want to show that this version of the deck is not at all optimized. We have, from our hand, no way to get into any monster on the field, and all of our cards require a dragon on the field or in the graveyard. So, it's going to be rough. They're going to go ahead and start off with a copy of Carterhorn of the Hidden Seafront. The Hidden Gem of the Seafront. They're going to normal set a copy of Beta, add Gamma, activate Adamantipator Friends. Going to search for any rock monster, adding it to hand. They're going to add a copy of Analyzer. They're going to bring out the copy of Analyzer, normal summon it out. Seeker, Friends. They do hit with the Gamma, and they're going to be able to special summon out that Gamma. Gamma effect is going to be able to bring out a copy of Beta, and they're going to pass the turn on this. They have the ability to tribute into more material. It's crazy. And set 4 pass. And they're going to go into the full line here, going into all the different Gamma Warriors, and they're just going to go ahead and flex on us just a little bit. They get to. We're playing multiple cards that are floodgates, multiple cards that can play off of destruction if we happen to get any sort of monster in the field. Our problem is just getting there in the first place. They're going to turn everything front ways, going into Valkyrion. They're going to go ahead and add Emancipator. Doesn't matter. They whiff. They're going to activate a copy of the Vertisylph, bring out Beta, add themselves Alpha, synchro into Zeta, using the Gamma, using the Valkyrion to make room, go into the 4 monsters, normal summon out this, and then just hit in for lethal. And so, that is the main reason why, while I don't think this deck is going to be at all good, because of hands like this, there's definitely some work to be done. Perhaps adding some more ways to get some tributes off is necessary in order to get any dragon on the field, but it's hard to say what it is you could do with that kind of hand. So, we're back with the deck, and hey look, my shirt changed. The pros of this deck. 1. Galloping Gaia is a great field spell. Turn after turn, being able to add extra cards and fix your hand is really helpful. 2. Plussing off Tribute for our effects gives this deck a whole lot of variety of interesting tech options. We can Change of Heart, Non-Destruction and Remove, Icarus Attack, and Omni-Negate all effects. It just doesn't get better than that. And 3. Depending on the hand, you can actually run away with the game in almost any sort of board state. OTK lines, monster spell trap removal, playing defensive and offensive. It has one of the highest ceilings I've ever seen in this format. And the cons. 1. Bricks. Hard bricks. You are running 4 vanillas, of which 2 are fully dead in hand, and the other 2 are only soft bricks depending on the other cards you draw. Sometimes you set 4 paths with an 8-star vanilla in grip. 2. You're pretty much forced to go second. Tefnuit is a Cyber Dragon. Nepthets and Sue require your opponent's cards to tribute from hand or field, and almost all of your interactions hard focused on your opponent's setup. And 3. The Gaia package is slow. You either need to 1. Open the field spell, add a copy of Gaia, or 2. Open the field spell and any level 5. If you draw the level 5 option, you're setting up for their next turn when you get the 4, and then you can keep going on afterward. The engine is excellent in long games where your opponent can't deal with everything on board, but if they can clear it, it's not exactly a deck that can start off on a 1-card combo. My final thoughts for this deck are as follows. With a high ceiling and plenty of combo options, this deck can do it all provided the right hand. If I were building this all over again, I'd get some tribute starters that don't lock you out of the extra deck plays, cut back on the traps, and tell my past self not to obsess over this deck for the past 2 months? Jesus Christ, where did the time go? Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Also, thank you to MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! For the formula of this series. His 10-minute testing for the TCG is the kind of content that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Space needs more of, and I hope that my spin for alt formats does it justice. My name is Doc Conrad, YGO, and I hope to see you back in the lab.